Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Hearthstone Ladder Climb. My name is Ikkaris, this is Ikkaris Gaming, and today is episode 6 of our series where we'll be reviewing my Hearthstone gameplay as I try to climb all the way to Legend. So today we are sticking with our Recruit Hunter deck, and we are matched up against Warlock. Now, very popular in the meta right now is even Warlock. Basically, they're going to try to use that reduced cost hero power to fill their hand as quickly as possible and then get out big minions, the Mountain Giant, that sort of thing, Primordial Drake, etc. So, in the opening hand there, we mulligan our high cost minions. They're not really too great of a value early game. We keep, however, the Candleshot and the Hunter's Mark, knowing that we're probably going to see the big minion combo. And as you saw just previous on the screen, right at the start of the game, again, Greymane comes out. That's your indication that you are in fact playing against even Warlock. So we know that he's going to be looking to fill his hand as quickly as possible with that one-cost hero power and then drop some big minions. He's also probably going to have a lot of health restoration in this deck, so we need to be aware of that as well. Plays the Vulgar Homunculus. We use the Candleshot, kind of damage it down. The idea being that we can use the Firefly on the next turn to clear it, and then play our Stitched Tracker. So he's just going to use his hero power. And now, unfortunately, he plays his Ooze, which gets rid of my Candleshot, which puts us in a little bit of a bind here. If he's able to get out a Mountain Giant on the next turn or two, unless we draw our second Candleshot, we could be in real trouble here. So that's something that we really need to keep an eye out on. With the Stitch Tracker, again, see Lich King, take Lich King. You can make an argument that I could have used the Seeping Oozeling. But we do have the Silver Vanguard in hand that can get some, one of our big minions out. And the logic there being Lich King is number one, such a good card. Number two, can go toe-to-toe with the giants that he's going to be looking to play. So we trade the Stitch Tracker into the Ooze. That's a good trade for us. And play Saronite Chain Gang. Nothing crazy here. We don't really have a good turn or good play for turn 5. We're gonna have to see what we get. We might, it'll be some kind of combination of the Flame Elemental, Hero Power, something like that. We don't really have a lot of 5-cost minions in this deck, and you'll see, we get the Play Dead. Doesn't really help us here too much. So we play the Flame Elemental, go Hero Power, and then just go straight to face. No need to trade into the Beetle and give him the free armor. We're behind the Saronite Chain Gang. Even if he were to attack with the Beetle, we're still pretty safe. So decided to go face, put a little extra pressure on him. And so now we're looking and we can see he's got a full hand. So now we need to be thinking about, does he have the giants? And the fact that he's playing the Shroom Brewer kind of tells you that he doesn't really have it, which is great news for us. Now we have the Flanking Strike, which is kind of our best turn here. So we can play that into his Shroom Brewer, Flame Elemental, get rid of it, Hero Power. Free me. Saronite Chain Gang to face, nothing too crazy. And we're probably thinking here on this next turn to play Silver Vanguard. Warlock doesn't typically run many minions that have silence, so we don't need to be too worried about losing that value. Now, it's unfortunate that he did have Hellfire there. He clears out our board, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. We play the Silver Vanguard, and now we're basically hoping that he does not have anything that can silence him. You can see he doesn't. Just plays the Twilight Drake. Oh, he does have something. So that's the concern. That's what we were a little bit afraid of. So we're in a little bit of a bind here now. Luckily, we do have 2 Lich Kings in hand, which is quite nice. So we're probably going to be thinking here
punch first.
Ah, I see what we were thinking. So we take the Twilight Drake down to 1 HP, play Deathstalker Rexxar, clear that board. The logic being Lich King on the next turn. With playing the Lich King on turn 9, obviously that does leave us with 1 extra mana. We'll have to see. Maybe we do get Kathrena or Seeping Oozeling, and here comes the Mountain Giant. So we need to be able to answer this, and a Hooked Reaver, which is unfortunate because he has exactly 15 HP, which of course gives it the +3/+3 and taunt, which is not great. We're in a little bit of a bind here. So we do have 2 Lich Kings in hand, which is great. So we go ahead and play the 9/9, which is why we played Keleseth early, is to be able to, you know, if we can get Keleseth out, buff our minions. We knew that these 8/8s were coming, or could be coming. So this is the real value of having Keleseth in your deck and playing him as soon as you get him. Because now it's going to take 2 minions, unless he has the Spellstone or something like that. But the idea being that it takes a lot of resources to clear a 9/9 Lich King or any minion that's really been buffed.
So sweet.
And he plays Gnome Feratu, which is one of my least favorite cards, and you can see it burns one of our Seeping Oozlings, which is rather unfortunate because we could have played that on this turn and used Play Dead to trigger the Death Rattle and bring out another minion, flip the board on him. So that was a really lucky play on that Gnome Feratu, because we're kind of in a, you know, not really sure what to do here. So we're going to go Lich King, and then we're probably thinking Death Coil. Get rid of the Vulgar Homunculus. And wait for the next turn. The next turn we might be thinking Ultrasaur. We could be thinking the Death and Decay into Tar Creeper and Firefly, maybe for the Lord's Reward presence. And see, that's why we have the Lich King out there, is because it takes, you know, it took both of his minions to trade in. And so now we're always a little bit concerned when we see Blood Reaver Gul'dan. Luckily, he hasn't played that many minions. Obviously, this being an even Warlock deck, there's no Void Lords in there, which is a relief. You know, Q block and any deck that runs Void Lord is not one of my preferred opposing decks to play against. So, you know, we didn't really have the greatest hand here, so we just played the Ultrasaur. Of course, being buffed 8/15 is pretty hard to remove it. And again, the Gnome Feratu takes out one of the cards that's critical to our win condition. It gets a Charged Devilsaur, which is, again, rather unfortunate. But we do get the Seeping Oozeling. So we're thinking here, you know, do we go Seeping Oozeling and Houndmaster Shaw? Or do we try to get max value out of the Oozeling? And you can see it picks up the Death Rattle of Kathrena, which is, of course, because our Silver Vanguard is already dead. Trigger the Death Rattle, bring one of our beasts out, King Krush, and we are in business now. So we can get rid of his Lich King, get rid of one of his Vulgar Homunculus, and we can play Tar Creeper, which of course has been buffed due to Keleseth, to further protect our minions. And you can see why, you know, I like, the reason I like having Ultrasaur in there so much is I was able to clear out the Lich King, and I still have an 8/7 on the board, which is pretty awesome. You know, I don't really have any complaints. As I said, we're probably going to be thinking about maybe swapping one of the Ultrasaurs for like a Tyrantris, just simply because it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. But for now, having those extra big beasts in the deck instead of spells, I think is paying off. But again, that's just kind of my preference. That's my style. I like having big minions. So next turn, you know, again, we don't really have that great of a turn here. Last turn was kind of the best turn of the game so far. We can play Houndmaster Shaw, Firefly, Flame Elemental, go Hero Power. You know, we have a couple options, but even if we go Hero Power, you then have to get a minion that's 8 cost or less, and you know, we're going to be taking a look at that. It's going to depend on what we get. Now, of course, it's going to hit with the Defile. Which nearly wipes out the board, and then Hero Power to get rid of that. But that did bring out my second Ultrasaur. So we're probably thinking here, you know, we definitely don't want to trade the 8-1 into a 6-1. We want to keep our other Ultrasaur alive as long as possible. So we can play... We're thinking Death and Decay here. We can just wipe his minion, basically. Not for free, but without any damage. And then 7 mana left over. Probably Houndmaster Shaw, Tar Creeper. Oh, Hero Power. Ah, that's right. So we go Hero Power. We go Tundra Rhino here just to get it extra, you know, for a charge minion to get extra, there's a little bit of extra push there. And then I actually don't recall what the second one was, but you can see that's now a 9-cost minion. So that'll have to be basically, you know, our whole turn next turn. Or we can play that. We can play the Zombeast with the Flame Elemental next turn, and that'll be our 10 mana. Of course, he's got another Hooked Reaver, which is unfortunate. And he can use his Lifesteal to get rid of our Flame Elemental. Still not the worst thing because we can easily trade into his Hooked Reaver with the Ultrasaur. And then we can play the Zombeast and win the game. So, Hooked Reaver, gone. Tar Creeper face. Play the Flame Elemental just for fun. And charge. GG, we win. Got to give the extra little, the little emote there. So, that was episode 6 of Hearthstone Ladder Climb. You can see we've ranked all the way up to 15. Feels good, man. So tune in next time as we try to climb up to 14.